Being 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting of the town of Camden to order. First off, let's pledge allegiance.
You don't know. That was close.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, as a reminder, as a service to the public, the council meetings are recorded for viewing on the local cable station and on the town's website page. Okay, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the September 15th regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I will second that motion.
Okay, I need a motion to accept the executive session at Camden.
Yeah, on the memorandum, it just states that who was in attendance and an affirmation that all we discussed was what we said we were going to discuss in the public notice. And then it is witnessed by Andy and myself.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I will second those minutes.
And then we also have to send on the actions.
And then I need the same thing on the Delphi. Okay with that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion for that, the Delphi executive meeting today.
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion to approve the October docket and the allowance docket.
I'll make a motion, yeah, for October docket and allowance docket.
Second.
Are there any questions on the docket?
No.
No,
Well, I had one. What do you get for $4.50 for a first aid kit? Bandit?
From the Dollar General, thank you.
Wow.
don't get an artery. Don't hit an artery, that's what you get.
Okay. Okay, Laura Wells with the EDC Director, update on the EDC. You're up, Laura.
Hi, good time.
Long time no see.
Yeah,
Again,
it's been a
and
while.
again, and again.
Podium. Okay, well, so it's been a little crazy and I wanted to just kind of touch base with you guys. Sorry, my.
Yeah.
There you go.
I just wanted to kind of update you guys where we are. We are working on a project together right now, so you're familiar with that. But some of the other things that we have going on is now that we're in a 4-year contract with the town to perform economic and community development services for Camden. So we moved to our new building in the industrial park in February. It's going well. We love being in the industrial park, miss being downtown, but it's working out very well. It's a beautiful facility, top-notch meeting space. You have 3 appointments to the EDC Board of Directors. Mark is one of them, and Bob Overman and Julia Leahy are the other 2. Mark's been a terrific new addition to the board. Just brings a really good perspective with his connections at Purdue and his experience there, and has been very active and involved. We appreciate it and enjoy having him. And Bob Overman, I don't know that we could have a better cheerleader for the EDC, and when he gives his impassioned speeches about in support of our efforts, they're moving. So we love Bob and his passion. We closed a couple of projects this calendar year. One of them I just passed on my way here just now. Whip and Pig Company. They had their grand opening in May. That's a kind of a hog transfer station. Its code name was Project Reject. It buys hogs that are rejected by the two major processors in our area, IPC and Tyson. When that project is at full capacity, anticipating it having 10 full-time jobs, average salary is more than $35,000 a year, full benefits paid by the company, and nearly $2 million in investment. So that was a good win. Another agribusiness. It's right in our wheelhouse. We've been working with the council pretty much all of 2016 on resolving a tax abatement request from IPC for their bacon production expansion that we announced last September in Tokyo with the governor. I think we're very close to the finish line after today's county council meeting. So that's going well. We supported $10,000 to the floor of the Rail Depot restoration project this year. We have been working with the developers of the former Peters and Revington facility. It's now known as Peters Industrial Development. Those are two guys from the area who also bought the former Globe Valve facility. And so that's in North Washington Street in Delphi. In their former Globe Valve facility, known as the Delphi Industrial Park, Next Day Container, we brought them here in 2014. They announced at our luncheon in August that they were adding a second shift. That started last month. So they've done very well at the Delphi facility, and I'm not sure what the final number of new full-time jobs that adding second shift will entail, but it will be over 10. We're working with there's a Lilly Prosperity Grant for our region. It's kind of headquartered or centered around Tippecanoe County, but we've been very active in advocating for Carroll County as that moves forward, and there will be dollars put up by the Lilly Endowment to implementing this Prosperity Grant, and we want to make sure that we're at the table and considered for some projects. We're also working with, just this morning, Mark was there, we heard a presentation from the Schaefer Freeman Lakes Environmental Conservation Corp., easier to say SFLECC, and their efforts to protect lake levels on Lake Freeman. The Federal Fish and Wildlife has come in and demanded that Tippecanoe River on the other south of Oakdale be maintained at a certain level to protect the mussel population, which is very important. We're supportive of protecting the mussels, but it's also detrimental to assessed value in Carroll County if lake levels go down. Talking a 30% loss in property values, which is very, very likely in the event that lake levels are lowered, would have a $1.2 million annual tax impact on the overlapping taxing units on Lake Freeman. So significant concern for assessed value, the EDC supporting SFLECC. We are working with the Camden Florida Rail Corridor Commission. The EDC continues to support that with a $5,000 a year contribution. A couple of our board members sit on that board. And I might talk to Pete Wagner more than my husband, at least today. Definitely today. I'll talk to all of you more than my husband today. But so we've been working on that rail corridor project since April. I was going back through my notes. Since April, we've invested a lot of not only staffing resources and board member time, but running reports through UMBAL using their financial services. So there's been some expense with that project, although compared to the previous project we worked with Rail Corridor Commission, we've done a pretty good job of keeping our expenses on this project in check. But some very exciting developments today, and looking forward to moving forward and working with you guys on that. And then finally, we also have Within the next 30 days, we'll have a large expansion project with the local industry ready to announce. We should have that date finalized by Monday, and make sure all of you are invited as well to that. But we're really excited. Our plan is to end 16 with a lot of momentum, as was reported in the comment last week. I reported to the Redevelopment Commission. We've seen a decline in our state leads, and that trend's been going for about a year and a half now. Plenty of political speculation as to why we've seen a reduction in our leads, some actions by the State House, but also it's been my experience that I've been doing this long enough to have gone through several presidential cycles now. During presidential election years, we've seen companies not hesitant or nervous to make those large investments just because they're unknown, that the future's unknown. Not that if Hillary wins that they're going to change their mind and not do the project, but because they're not sure of what administration they'll be facing, they just kind of hold on to their money and keep it close. So we've kind of weathered that through 16 and still had some major wins. We are bracing ourselves. We are ready for 17 to be active and hopping, and we'll go out and create that activity. We don't expect it to come knocking on our door, although sometimes it does, and we're ready to pounce when that happens too. But we're going to go out and create our own opportunities, continue knocking on doors. So that's just a very brief synopsis of kind of what we've been up to, and I wanted to talk to you guys about that. I'd be happy to answer any questions from you guys or from the audience.
I'm good.
I think I'm good too.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks a
Great.
lot, Lauren.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
Oh, no problem. Now, I was when I was kind of preparing for this, one interesting statistic that doesn't get reported on, but looking at unemployment figures for August of 2016, and the unemployment rate actually in August of 16 crept up 0.3 of a point versus August of 2015. But when you dig, and so it looks like, oh, the sky is falling, our unemployment rate is going up. It's still well below the national average. But when you dig a little deeper, looking at the size of our labor force, 948 more people are employed in Carroll County in August of 2016 compared to August of 2015. So we keep hearing about this jobless recovery, and I do think that we endured a period of that. Looking at June, that figure was 475. So from June to August, about 500 more people were working versus the previous year. But I was thrilled with the June figure. That was 475 more in June of 16 versus June of 15. But I think we're finally seeing the jobless recovery over. More people are engaged in the workforce. And I don't think it's going to take too long for us to start seeing the trickle-down effect of that. I just wanted to give you the heads up.
Thank you very much, Lauren.
No
Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Well, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you, Lauren. Okay, Glendon, Wolf, you're up.
Would you like to be over
I
here?
don't care, stand wherever you want.
Wherever you feel
All right, I'm going to, as I mentioned to Pat, give out some papers here that I had talked with her about. And here they are. One for each of you. Down there. Pat, I think you have one, but I went ahead and did a summary there for everyone. I think there's enough for either one there. And give one to our comment person here. If you'd like, I'll step over here out of the way. I think I came here last year as well, and it's that time of year that I'm probably not the most joyous person because I deal with insurance, but nevertheless, everyone has to have it or suffer the alternative. But the rates for your group health insurance for the employees is going up as it does each year with not only the company you're with, but with really with any company for that matter. What we've seen with this company is we've seen a lower rate of increase than we've seen with prior companies. If you look at the one page where it says your renewal snapshot, at the bottom right-hand corner, it says page 14. And I think it might be the second page in there. You can look at everything across there in due time, but if you look there, their total in bold, total current premium is listed there at $38.24. That would be a monthly premium. And then the total new premium is coming in at $42.0495. And that increase there, the difference in that is 9.6 for the year. As far as coverages, the coverages remain the same. And they'll remain at whatever they are now, they'll remain the same for the renewal term. And this renewal term typically would go from 12/1/16 to 12/1/17. But because of a lot of the changes that are going on in the healthcare marketplace, what is happening is everything has to transition at the end, or actually January 1/2018. So what the carrier is doing is basically giving you, or any company, employer, that has a 12/1/16 renewal, a renewal clear through the end of the year. So it's actually a 13-month renewal, 12/31/17. After that time, we don't know what's going to happen with the election. We don't know what's going to happen with the administration. We don't know what plans are going to be available. So what we do know is that we'll be back in touch either during the course of the year, but especially in October of next year, to bring you up to date in plenty of time if there are major changes that we have to switch companies, if they're not available anymore, or switch plans, what have you. We don't see any changes in that 13-month period once this renewal takes effect 12/1/16, other than possibly demographics as far as age. If there's an age band change, they increment in 5-year age band. So if someone has a birthday, it throws them from a age 20, 25 bracket, goes into 26 on up, then you could see that, which is usually minor. So the rates would be basically set for that year. Now, you are in your group, like many of my groups, they're in what they call they went from a grandfather to a grandmother status, and they just sort of kick the can down the road, and it's in what they give it a transitional period, or transitional policies. And those transitional policies are exempt from having what they call community rates, which healthcare reform dictated. If you leave this plan, leave this company, or change plans, you will lose your transitional or your grandmother status, never to return. So any change that you make, whether to, and I've mentioned this to Pat, there are some options here that will keep your premium down so there's no increase. But what would happen if you made a change? To do that, your renewal would be 12/1/16 to 12/1/17. And then you would have to make a change to something, whatever's available that we would have for 12/1/16 through the end of the year, 12/31. And then because in the healthcare reform, then we would have to do something else January 1 again, because they're going to try to get everybody on a 1/1 effective date. So it's not a mess, but at the same time, it is, to make things simpler. All my groups, and I have many of them, but all my groups are keeping the transitional plan because the government may choose, after the election, may choose to go ahead and kick the can down the road and examine everything and so forth and see what happens. And those transitional plans potentially could keep your rates from jumping anywhere from 20 to 100% when they go on to community rating. That's the protection these transitional plans offer. There's not very many players in the market anymore.
Right.
The government has, for the most part, has seen to that, and a lot of players have gone out. You probably read and heard the news, United Healthcare has pulled out, at least the individual side, Indiana University has pulled out of the on exchange for 17 on the individual. Forcing a lot of companies to drop group insurance and go to individual, but that's another mess in itself. So the group insurance is still the best market for the broadest network coverage to give you in and out of network with no limitations to speak of and choice of providers. So a lot of groups, small groups, have chosen to stay that way for at least through this election period to see what happens for another year.
Are you saying you can still pick your provider?
Yeah, in your group insurance method, basically the way you're set up and the way small groups are set up, you have an Anthem network, but the Anthem network in a group plan is much, much different than what people see on an individual side. So if you weren't a part of a group, an employer group for instance, and you went out to buy your insurance on just a general marketplace,
Right.
you will find that the provider network is, it's night and day.
Right, I'm sure of that.
So where your doctors you're going to now may accept that, on the marketplace, they may not accept it, only in an emergency situation. And so that's the luxury that a small group has at this point in time, at least through 2017 to December 31st.
Yeah, you get that extra month where you're talking.
Yes. Now the plan in the paperwork that I've given you, I discussed this a little bit with Pat, and I left this in here. There's some alternate plans for you to look over. And the one plan on page 20 at the bottom right-hand corner, I put a little bit of a star up there about midway there, and it's you'll see a little star there underneath the grayed area, and it says Anthem Silver Blue Access PPO 3500E/0%/5000 with HSA. Okay, that plan, if you would switch to that plan to curtail your increase, if you look down at in the grid just before add and replace, you'll see that reflects a 1% increase instead of a 9.6% increase for your renewal. So you'd only have a 1% increase. You'd have a 38.54.53, which wouldn't be much over what you're paying now, 38.24. Now, with that change, as I mentioned, you're going to lose the, number one, just reiterate, you're going to lose the transitional plan, which means that you're not going to be able to go back to anything. You're kind of all bets are off. Whatever the government says with the community rating or the healthcare reform, you're in it for the long haul for whatever if you want to choose to continue health insurance. The other change as far as employees go is this. Your current plan has a $3,000 deductible for an individual and a actually a $6,000, it's what it's called, 3,000, 6,000 basically, and what that actually means is it's a 3,000, 4,000 for an individual. The 3,000 is a deductible that everything goes to that deductible except for preventive care. Preventive care, if you go in network, it's 100% paid. So it doesn't count toward your deductible or anything else, it just paid, as long as it's in network, your wellness visits, things like that. But that 3,000, say, beginning of the year or beginning of your term, which is 12/1, what happens with that is everything goes in that. It's your hospital, emergency, ancillary, prescription drugs, doctor visits, special, everything goes in the pot. Once that 3,000 is met, then you look to the right of that, it says 4,000. The additional 1,000 for that employee only would have to be met only with prescription drugs, and the prescription drugs at that point would not have deductible to worry about, it'd just be co-pays. And those co-pays are to the direct right, which says 10 for generic, 30 for brand, and so forth. So that would only pertain, so if you're not on any drugs, for instance, then that 1,000 wouldn't even be a bearing.
Right.
Or if you don't meet it, which is good, because that means you're not on very many drugs and you're healthy. Now for a family, it's just twice that. So you're looking at 6,000 for a family, which is 2 deductibles, 1 per person, maximum 2 per family. And then when you see the 8,000 over there, then they just have to meet the 2,000 for the prescription drug co-pays. And then it's 100%, because there are no 80-20s or 70-30s, which is kind of a familiar connotation for most people when they hear about an 80-20. The alternate plan that I checkmarked for you to look at there, that would have the 1% increase, the difference for the employee would be this. Instead of having a $3,000 deductible for a single, it would be a $3,500, so it'd be $500 more out of pocket. And a family, it would just be an extra $1,000. It'd be twice that. And then when you see the 7,000 and so forth over there, what that is, it's the same premise as the other one, and it's 100%. So it's basically the same type of plan design, except it's a little more out of pocket for the employee. But it negates a 9.6 increase. It's only 1%.
Is it, everything same in network?
Yeah, your networks would not change. Your doctors you've been accustomed to, and your clinics, that wouldn't change. That would be the same.
Okay.
Yeah, there were no interruption there. And like I say, if you don't make a change, the cards and everything will be the same. If you make a change, then there'll be new cards. If you want to make a change, then there'll be a couple signature pages that we would have to do there. And we need to know fairly quick on that. I would say, by the 1st of November, we really should be doing something on that, end of this month or the 1st of November, because we're looking at a 12/1. If you don't make any changes, you don't need to do anything.
That's where the grandfather, you stay the same, we do nothing.
Right.
Grandmother.
Mother now.
Yeah, or you can call it transitional. Some people don't want
Grandparented.
grandparent, they can call it
Grandparented.
grandparent. That's another
No
good one.
offense to my grandparents, either one of them.
I've had a lot of people ask me what my suggestion would be as an agent, not that, it's gonna swing the vote or anything like that, and, but I'm just saying that we're not having any companies lose their transitional plans. They're all having increases, but we're not, and some of them are having greater increases than yourself. But we're not having anyone want to give up that transitional plan. They're gonna kind of suck it up for another year, because they feel like, at the meetings I've gone to so far, they feel like there's going to be a cliff in January of 2018 like we've not seen before in healthcare. That's what the insurance companies are predicting. And I think eventually, this is my own opinion, I think that the agents will be taken out of the picture, no matter who's elected, anywhere from 3 to 5 years, and we'll wind up, and that's what I'm doing right now, is basically turning myself over as a consultant in the future. Because right now, they've taken, like on the individual side, if a person loses their coverage, like if you quit your coverage here, and they're forced to go to the individual market and buy it, and we sign someone up, they've taken the agent commission and nullified their contract. Basically said, yeah, we have a contract in force, but since we're not making any money, we're not paying you either. So a lot of agents are going out of the business, and we've had a lot of them come to us and say, would you mind, we trust you, we'd like for you to take over our business. But there's a point where we want to just get so big too, we don't want to get too big that we can't handle people. But if there's any way you can do it, I guess I would say I would urge you to stay with the same plan, not because I want you to take a higher premium, but I think that they may end up kicking the can down the road, because there's a new election, there's not going to be a lot get done in the beginning. And I don't think there's going to be great changes, so I think for those on transitional might reap some benefits a little longer than those that don't have anything to hang on to as far as a grandfather status. But you don't have to make a decision tonight. I just wanted to present that, so if you have any other questions for me, I'll be more than happy to answer them, or if you want to direct those to Pat and Sheila, because I can come up, I can come to other meetings, I can, whatever you want. If I don't know the answer, I'll get you the answer if there is an answer.
Thank you much, brother.
All right.
I'm on the
Motion
I make
Motion
a
to
motion to
table.
table.
Yeah, I'll second that, we'll table it, maybe we can get together, and get back Friday. We got stuff to talk about.
We'll set up an executive session.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Not for this.
Okay.
that'll be pretty good.
Okay.
All right, if you don't mind, I would like to ask for permission to be excused. I have some other appointments this evening.
Dismissed.
All right, thank you very much, folks.
Yep. Okay, Linda Stapleton or Linda Schrock, who wants to visit?
Well, I can go. Do you want to introduce me first, or is that, they all know you? So.
Okay. This is Linda Schrock from Logansport Memorial.
Thank you for letting me kind of just be here and explain some things, or at least I'm kind of on a fact finding mission. And Linda, let me just introduce myself a little bit deeper. I'm Linda Schrock, and I'm Vice President of Human Resources at Logansport Memorial Hospital. And I've been there for 17 years. So, and I am, one of my responsibilities is employee benefits. So I feel your pain when you hear all of this, and so I've been there. Of course, you know, we're self-funded and partially self-funded, and so we've dealt with building our own benefit plans, trying to reduce the cost and all of those with our employees. And you guys work with our workplace wellness team, and we appreciate that, and you know, trying to get people, our employees, healthy and on that track. But again, I'm here on a fact-finding mission because there was whisperings that there's potentially talk about a clinic and for employees, and would love to be able to, I guess, if this is really being considered, to have Logansport come and present and get some numbers and really talk about how that works, how we could structure it and build it to where it would meet the needs without having the capital outlay of a building. We have a building right across the street, and we have practitioners, we have doctors that are available. We work with other companies in Logansport as well as out in the areas that if access is an issue, if costs are an issue, we're able to structure the benefit plan design so that way they could go right directly to the clinic and show a card, and the employees not pay a dime unless you decide to have them have a copay. We bill it directly to the plan and be able to structure it that way. So there's some alternatives to having a clinic and having, again, the capital outlay of a clinic for county employees or city employees or whoever else you wanted to be in that plan. And again, if it's you desire, we would love to be able to put some of that together and be able to present that and what it would look like, how it would work if you would like that.
As a little background, when Glendon was here discussing the insurance with me, he mentioned at that time that he is trying to get some kind of a clinic together for the policies that he holds. And on hearing that, he also said he'd like it in Delphi. And my thought was, if we have a clinic, it needs to be here in Camden, because we already have a building, we have the nurse practitioner. And I really thought he was going to address that tonight, but he didn't get into that. So that's why I contacted Linda, and Linda asked Linda Schrock to come over to kind of discuss it. I don't know if you really have any questions, since Linda didn't give his presentation on it, but I just think you need to be aware.
Would the clinic be in lieu of, it'd be an adjusted insurance plan and?
Yeah, it would be something, and I guess I'm not real familiar with the background of your plan. Are you self-funded or partially self-funded, or are you fully funded?
We just have regular insurance.
Okay,
We
so
do not, the town does not have any type of supplement.
Okay. Even with that, there's a possibility then we could work with the carrier or the agent as well to be able to work that, so that way.
It's like a wellness program type?
It's not necessarily, it would be primary care, it'd be a capitation of primary care. And so in other words, we would be able to, again, if you had an employee that needed primary care, because that's what primary care is here. If it's specialty, obviously, that's something that would go to the ancillary facilities.
They needed blood work or stuff.
If they needed blood work, and we could even arrange to have prescriptions.
Is it similar to what Purdue uses Premise for as
Very much.
wellness? Yeah.
Yeah. As I mentioned, we have Dilling. Dilling in town uses our Express Med as a clinic.
Right.
And so what they do is their employees come in, they show their card, and the employee doesn't pay anything, and then we bill Dilling for those charges, whether it's blood work or whether it's the office visit, and then that goes, so there's a lot of savings in the nature of administrative costs, the TPA cost, the agent costs. So there's some savings that are allowable there. So there's some alternatives, I guess, to having another clinic brought in. And,
Would it be beneficial for us to bring in other groups, like, say, the county employees? I mean, if it's something,
sure, because that way, again, it's similar to a group. If you, the more you bring in, the lower it's gonna have the cost.
I would be interested in seeing
I would be too.
the numbers and stuff.
Okay.
If you could put something together.
Yeah, and I know you guys may be under the wire. Sounds like you have a 12/1
Yeah,
renewal.
nothing like getting that sprung on us right beforehand that we can't talk about after tonight.
But again, even if you do go ahead and you decide to renew, this is something that could be brought in outside of your renewal date, and implemented at any time.
Well, and I think it also with the changes in healthcare too, it's not, we ought to be exploring our options, but we know it's gonna change with the national election going the way it's going. But the other municipalities and the county, or whatever, the local Carroll County folks, if we could incorporate it somehow. Today at EDC, they announced that IU Health is pulling out of Delphi. So Logansport Memorial came up, but it was made clear that we didn't want to jeopardize what we have here, you know. So we're very proud to have you guys here and want to keep this. So.
And we're grateful to be here in the community, and we, you know, between Linda and Dr. Anderson, we love caring for your community.
Yeah, regional health care is on the horizon, I think.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see something.
Okay. Is it okay then, because some of the information will need some census data to show, I guess, how many belly buttons or lives you have on the plan that you would be covering, some of the primary care numbers, things like that. So is it okay if I contact the broker to get that information, or how would I go about getting some of that? And again, it would just be some preliminary data to come up with numbers, because that's what you're gonna wanna see. You're gonna wanna see how much it would cost, and to do that, we would need some numbers.
You mean like, how many employees
How many
you got?
employees, how
How many
many
spouses?
spouses, how many children, so a census?
Yeah.
Yeah,
of
we're
that.
very-
So we're looking
very
at
small.
5?
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
okay.
Well, he meant what, she meant what.
Oh.
If you potentially.
Oh, if we, okay.
If potentially.
I like you meant
That's
now,
something
that's
that
easy.
Glenda could answer.
That, yes, I mean, that's something that he had brought up to Pat that we weren't
Okay.
aware of,
Okay.
and then feel free, I mean, that's his.
Is it all right if we contact him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can tell you, we know what we have.
Five.
I'd be glad to work with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would be up to him if he can give you that information, but we have a very limited base here, just a small towns only.
Okay.
But yeah, if we could
But
get,
if we can
if
make
we get
use
a
of
few
our
of them
building,
on board,
make it
then
bigger, that's, yeah,
bigger or better.
Yeah, and bring more services there, would be good.
for that.
Thank you for coming.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
New business, appointment reports. I got down here Mr. Everett Snowberger.
Okay.
I just wanted to report, because I haven't been to the town board meetings for quite a while, what's going on in the Area Planning Commission Board of Zoning Appeals. Just so you'll know, the Area Planning Commission has started revising or combining, I guess is a better term, all of the zoning ordinances into a single document. They've hired an outside firm to do this. They're going to bring everything such as the normal zoning ordinance, the flood ordinance, the wind towers, heartland overlay, borrow pits, etc., and put that into one comprehensive document. There will be no revisions done to it, necessary editorial revisions such as spelling errors or instances where regulations in the Indiana Code have been referenced and they've been repealed and new codes have taken place, so they'll be bringing that up to date. So that's what's happening presently. Next year, sometime, don't know exactly when, the Area Planning Commission plans to start the revision of the zoning ordinance. And in the existing ordinances, there are many things that need to be fixed. They had initiated a revised or new zoning ordinance that they wanted to put in about 2-3 years ago. And it met pretty massive resistance from the general public because there were a lot of things in the ordinance that were wrong, things that needed corrected. And they had, the steering committee that prepared it said, we need to adopt it, then read it, then determine what needs to be changed afterwards. You know, kind of like our healthcare thing got pushed through. And we see how well that worked out. But consequently, that's coming up down the road. The Area Plan Commission most probably will have some kind of community group to give input onto that. And I think it's pretty important that the town be very vocal on input. So those are two things that are going with the Area Planning Commission. Also, at the last meeting for the Area Planning Commission, they were talking about communities such as Burlington, Florida, that have their own zoning ordinances. And the question came up to whether Camden had officially adopted the countywide zoning ordinance. And so I wanted to present that, you know, and make sure that we presently do have it adopted.
Did you want a copy of that when it was adopted?
No, I don't need a copy. I just pass it along to make sure that.
Is that on the website? Can you see that there?
You know, I'm not sure.
All right,
I'd have
we'll
to
check.
check.
When the county does create a new zoning ordinance, the town of Camden will have several options. You'll be able to adopt the old and continue the old ordinance as it stands. You'll be able to adopt the new one if you like. You'll be able to adopt the new one with revisions or whatever. And or the town could possibly come up with their own. So those are a couple, you know, like 3 or 4 different options that you could take a look at. And the other thing is that there's been a lot of discussion about the building inspector for the county, for the city of Delphi, potentially for the county and stuff. And don't know how that will all play out, just bringing this up to date. The big question is that a building inspector is adopted and the town of Camden goes along with it. You know, I imagine they'll probably be expected to pay part of his salary and stuff. But you have to keep in mind that if you have somebody to enforce the rules, then, you know, for instance, you have buildings that are deemed unsafe, the town of Camden would then have to have the responsibility and budgets, et cetera, to go along to condemn and demolish such buildings. And that might turn out to be buildings that you don't want demolished. So, you know, if you have the enforcement mechanism, you have to be prepared for the consequences. So that's all I've got. If anybody has any questions.
Good. Thank you. Keep us posted. Don't let them slide anything in on us over.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jason.
Hector, go ahead.
Just for, I don't know if it falls under the appointment things, but the 911 appointment
Yeah.
from Elm, they had their quarterly meeting. The only thing that was significant out of there was the fact that the county did buy a new CAD system. They're hoping to have it up and running by the first of the year.
The one that we're looking at?
Yes.
Oh, good. I like the sound of that one.
New 911 systems.
They did purchase it.
The CADs.
Well, they have not signed any contracts with the CAD people as of yet. It's all been approved through the council. It's going to be tremendous benefit for all emergency services inside the county.
Great.
Good.
Thank you. I wondered if we were going to do that.
Jerry, got anything for us?
We had an inspection for light in their sanitary survey, been Monday. Everything went well. As soon as I get the complete report, I'll turn it over to you guys so you can take a look at it. I also talked to him about the North Ball Diamonds out there at the park, about them moving the tractor pull out there. They didn't have a problem with that as long as it sat back past the 100-foot setback. And of course, I've talked to a couple of people since then, and it doesn't sound like it'll be quite far enough
Yeah.
because they're wanting to run it at an angle across there. I was originally under the impression they were gonna run it east and west.
Still not long enough.
Okay.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Ken, you're up.
Take 2 or 3 minutes of your time, sorry about that.
Oh, you're okay.
Right on time.
Last council meeting we had,
I saw this once.
we just kinda got back up.
you seen that thing?
At the last council meeting, Mr. Surveyor, the county surveyor was here, we were to go back and redefine that issue with the storm pipe, which drains more than half of Camden. The first page is the delineation of the area on the ground. So that entire area that's in the pink there, that all contributes to that storm drain and ends up at the outfall where the little diamond is. The basic characteristics on page 2. And you can look through that at your leisure. And then on page 3 is the proposed project. We requested to be placed on the 7th of November drainage board meeting,
Did you say November?
November 7th. I'll attend that. And we've come up with, to repair the blue area, it'd be about $80,000. So you'd have several options.
Is that over the hill?
Yeah. There's no sense in band-aiding that. The pipe's 100 years old, it's reinforced concrete. If you replace it in one area, you're gonna replace it in another pretty soon. So you have an option, if you're gonna spend $80,000, if you spend another 40, you can get a grant for 500,000. So the total match would be 120, and you can get 500. Then you can do all the projects that are shown on this page. The only issue would then be how do we come up with $120,000? We have several issues. One would be the county takes it over and assesses everybody in town. It'd be about $10 a year for now on. Option 2 would be you take it over, come up with funding between the farmers and yourselves, or grants. You can get a grant to match your grant. Or then there'd be a combination of you take over the town's portion and then they would assess the property owners outside town and turn that money over to you. Option 2 and 3 would not result in a monthly charge to your residents. You could just find the money in your local budget. It'd be a few thousand a year over 10 or 15 years with the contributions to the property owner. Then you could fix it and do it upright and more than half your town's range would be in good shape again.
You're talking about going, that would fix the green and the blue,
Green, blue, and a lot of the red.
a lot of the red.
Yeah, you've got a couple of storm basins tied into the school right now. Jerry saw them.
How does that work where the school is? I mean, I see that's right, is that under the building? I know we talked about it once.
What do you mean, I don't know what, I can't see what you're looking at, but there shouldn't be anything underneath it.
Well, it just says it's the red, it just shows Camden School, is that to the side of the building?
Yes, to the side of the building, they have drains
Oh,
going.
okay, I was gonna say, cause that was rerouted years
Yeah.
ago.
Right, it's not gonna cause any major, that was,
No, but when we smoke tested the sanitary, it was coming on the storm drains, so those storm drains are tied into the sanitary. So we could take care of things like that we found all throughout the study. So that's where we are on this, on the 7th of November. I just needed your direction on what your preference would be. Would you ask this county to take it over and then be charged an assessment? Would you want to take it over and then collect any assessment they receive?
If they take it over and charge assessment, don't they have to build the money up before they can repair it?
It's gonna be a while.
That's what I'm saying.
You're exactly right.
right. And he's dealt with the whole project for years.
Well, I understand, but I'm just saying that option there is gonna be, even though they start paying, it's gonna take a while, there's no money.
It's long term.
There's no fund
Right.
there now.
You have two chances next year to get a grant. Round 1 is in February, March, round 2 is in July, August.
The option you said something about there's a grant to supplement the grant. How's that work?
We could go after a grant from the Farmers Home Community Facilities Program. They may give you $25,000, $30,000. And then they would loan you the rest over a period of 20 or 30 years. That would certainly be a quarter of it. And then the property owners outside contributed part of that, and that would be, another quarter to a half. And then Camden itself through its budget, you have a crackerjack creditor that can make money out of there, so. If you could find money from, how do you fund storm sewers now? You take it out of rainy day fund, you take it out of highway or general fund.
We have storm sewer, we do have the tax on it.
So take some money out of that, in addition to the grant and property owner contributed. That way you would avoid assessing all the residents at each
What
one.
type of money do we have in reserve
In the-
available?
You said over 20 years, it'd be about $1,000, you
I'm
said.
just
a
saying.
Couple thousand a year.
year.
Tens of thousands?
Well, how did you want to go?
Well, I have somewhat of an issue with, I mean, a lot of this is on the Crike, $80,000 improvement on the Crike property.
Well, yeah, you're outside of
And
town.
I have some kind of issue with that.
Yeah.
They
should have to
That we
kick
shouldn't, the town of Camden, even though our water runs through that drain.
Yeah, it's
That's
actually
the
county
issue.
drain.
It's a county drain, they're gonna come back and say everybody's responsible for it, then they'll assess everybody, so.
Well, but I'm saying that for us to take on the whole project of $5.5 million.
No, certainly they would have to contribute to that 120,000 match if you chose to go on with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, to see what our portion would be.
Right.
So at the meeting on the 7th, what would your preference to the drainage board be? Take over the assessment and work with the property owners to contribute their share?
We'd have to talk to Dean about that, I mean, that seems like the most logical route, we'll have to try to work with him.
And you have some property owners north as well.
Right, well, yeah. I know that's what
I could set a meeting up.
Tractor pulls here.
Yeah, exactly, that'd be a struggle there.
Tractor pull.
Yeah. But I think that's gonna be your best route, is to set a meeting up with them and let them know what we're up against.
Do we have issues on the north side?
We have some issues where the pipe is just old,
Our main issue is this blue section here.
Blue section, the green section isn't the best of shape, and there's a number of issues in that red section in town.
North side of what, Mark? North side of the school?
Town here,
Town.
on this north.
Is that
side.
out, that's out through the park right there?
Yep.
Now, that was replaced in the early 80s from Washington Street north out through the park, clear out to the back side of the park. That was replaced roughly, actually 70, I was working part-time, I believe, at that time, which would have been about either 78 or 79.
And you're saying that the $500,000 would replace it all?
$500,000 would put you in good shape. It'll take care of the problem with the crack property. The green area there will take care of that, and it would allow you to disconnect storm basins from sanitary and do some other improvements with catch basins and pipe repair. So I guess
Do you have a quote on the green space? I mean,
well, down at the, I had the numbers and I made a mistake on it. The numbers, the total thing, 80,000 for the crack, 60,000 for the green area, and the remainder would be in the red area.
Okay.
So outside of town, we're looking at 140,000, is that correct?
No, some of the 60s
this
in the town.
some of the six, like 30,000.
Well, that's what that is.
But then this up here is the other.
Right here.
Yeah, but
This is the town boundary.
Yes,
here.
yes, it's all right.
Okay.
So you've got a portion of that's in town.
Yeah,
Thank you.
a little over probably.
oh.
I don't know.
So I guess I'd ask permission to set a meeting up with the property owners, go after a grant.
Are you sure about that property, or town limits, the
Yes.
corporate boundaries?
And I'm pretty sure we are, but I'll double check it. That's what all
Is this
I
the
think that's too
gravel
far
pit here,
south.
yes,
the large pond?
yeah.
That's even worse.
That's all surface drainage. We don't have to worry about that. You only got in there. It's all
Off the hillside?
It's all going downhill. I'll get an aerial pat and show you exactly where.
Church Street
I
down.
can look at it, I can on the
Yeah,
GIS.
yeah. That's gonna be close.
This is where they put in the speed bumps.
Yeah, but, and then we're dropping south.
This
And then
is
this is-
75, this is Craps Field down.
And
So
this
you're
is
wanting
where
permission
this
to
one
reach
was,
out to the
yeah.
landowners?
Reach out to landowners,
Crossing
go to the
windows,
drainage board and maybe
But that
tell
means
them
these
the
houses here and here,
preferences
right?
of the town and then
These
go
houses
after
are right here.
funding
Those are
through
the
Farmers
low
Home for
Okay.
grant/loan accommodation.
Sure.
Information only at this point. And come back to the council in November or December
Yeah.
with more information.
Boundary, we just let them out
Mm-hmm.
of the thing because we couldn't get service.
I make a motion that we have Ken reach out to all the landowners
I
and
second the motion.
the drainage board, set a meeting, collect the information, then meet back with us.
Yeah, set the meeting.
Do you need me to come to the?
I'll let you know what it is. If you wanna come on the 8th, on the 7th, 8 AM.
That's what I mean.
8 AM on the 7th,
Okay. 8 AM,
on the 7th.
we're at?
Drainage board, same place we met today. Thank you all.
Hey, thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Thank you, Ken.
I'll get a map showing exactly where those are, Pat.
Okay.
For everything today.
Remember where Tippecanoe County is, Kim?
No, I live in Carroll County.
Today.
I appreciate all your
Thanks,
help
Ken.
today.
Okay.
Big day.
Hey, how about the Water Street package?
Oh, yeah, the road.
Bids in November.
Bids in November?
We'll get the bids taken in November.
Okay.
I got a little busy on something I noticed.
You don't say.
Okay, Marshall's report, I got it. 4 calls to service, 0 requests for property maintenance, 8 traffic contacts, 0 citations, 8 warnings, 1 investigation, 4 calls to assist another agency, and 1 golf cart permit. The marshals would like to remind residents that harvest is in full swing and to watch out for increased in truck and farm equipment traffic. Town Marshal Randy Larimore, Deputy Marshal Jason Dunning, and Steve Mullins. Wow, let's see. Where am I?
That or down further.
We're in it now.
You wanna do the marshals, you wanna do that now,
That's
or?
what we can do.
Okay. We had, I received a letter of resignation from Randy Larimore, effective as of October the 28th. He will, he requested to be let go, so not a problem there. I also received a letter from our Deputy Marshal, Jason, and it reads as, I have been advised that by Marshal Randy Larimore that he has turned in his resignation. Randy will be missed here in Camden, and I wish the best for all his future endeavors. Randy has also indicated to me that he would be available to answer any questions or to help in the situation which may come up, and that would need help or guidance in. In light of this circumstances, I would like to request that the board considers this letter as my application to succeed Marshal Larimore as the town marshal of Camden. It is my opinion that this would be an unnoticed transaction to the people of Camden. So, we're down to Marshall again.
Do we just make a recommendation on that, or do we have to wait till after?
Can we make a motion to appoint Jason?
Effective that day.
Effective
I'll make a
October
motion to
28th.
appoint Jason to the lead marshal, head marshal, the man, on the 28th. However you say that.
Effective
Effective
October.
the 28th of October.
There you go.
1 second.
Now, putting out a bid for
Okay.
a new marshal, I mean, there's quite a few avenues we can go. I mean, I think,
Well, if you look at the marshal manual, which we do have, and it needs revised by the new marshal, that would be great if that were done, because it was written in
What's your first name?
1995.
It's already in the works.
The current manual is obsolete in that there's sections of it that just no longer apply because we don't have a full-time marshal and we don't have the benefits that the marshal gets and that kind of stuff. So it needs updated in that response. But if you do read the manual, it states in there that the marshal would normally give consideration as to who he would be interested in having serve as his deputy. And then the marshal kind of makes the selection and then gets the blessing from the board, because of course the board has to do the hiring.
We have, basically my opinion is we have Jason now and Steve as a backup, and I would like, for the marshal to reach out to Steve and Mullen and see if hours he'd be available.
Steve's only worked maybe 8 hours this year.
I understand, but we also had, Randy and Jason. So, I mean, I think we owe it to Steve. He's been very good to Camden, and at least reach out to him and see if he's interested in working more hours. We also have, I think, my opinion, we have the option of, if Jason needs more hours, is available for more hours, to see where we're at on something like that too, but I'd like to explore that closer.
yeah.
Okay, if you do that, you have to amend your salary ordinance.
Well, I mean, we're just in exploratory right now to see where we're at and what our options are, but I think we need to explore those options also. I'm not saying we're gonna make.
I'm in agreement with you, yes. Utilities in the field, and
I feel like, well, we went almost a whole year with just one, basically, because Steve had only worked like 12 hours that one year.
Right.
So he may not be available because he's taking on a new job in
Right,
Dallas.
but we do owe it to him to see if he wants some more hours, I agree.
Make that happen, Jason?
Hello. Also in reference to the new position, I don't know if I need to get approval, but I'd like to, post it. The academy has a website where I can post it. That way maybe we get some more active people and then post it, not just in the comment, but some of the other surrounding newspapers, so we can draw maybe from a bigger pool.
Well, I mean, I think that would be okay, I mean, your input's gonna be important on who.
You know, I mean, if we get to that point, if we wanna hire another person, then we can definitely do something like that, I think.
Okay.
Okay, Pat, this is your area.
Okay. First thing we have is the approval of the 2017 budget. Last month was the public hearing, and tonight would be the adoption of the budget, budget 2016-5, and it is as it was presented earlier. Any questions?
No, I don't. Anybody, does the audience get to participate?
Hold on, I got about.
Oh, good, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Watch out,
I got
she's
prime this
ready.
afternoon.
Did you see that, man, she was ready. She got fired up in that county, she was ready,
It's
she's
ready. That was great.
Wow, Lord.
great, that was sick.
Is everything okay at LIT?
That is good.
Do you need a motion
I do.
to accept?
Accept the budget as proposed.
I make a motion to accept the budget as proposed.
Okay. When you sign, please mark the box that says,
You got a second, Eddie?
Second.
oh, yeah, already did.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Let's see, Robinson. Nay.
Oh, all right.
That's good.
When will we know the tax rates? When do you get that?
When it's actually determined, when you get your 1782 notice, and if it's like last year, we may actually have it before year end.
All right.
So we'll wait and see on that. You have your proposed rate, but you don't have anything.
And what we accept, or
Yeah.
what we set it at.
Okay, at the last meeting, the idea of switching from key budget to key fund was asked, and the matter was tabled. So I'm coming again to ask if you have an interest in changing. If you do, the cost is $5,750. One of the big benefit to key fund is that your posting is done in real time.
Is this the only, we talked about it, but I didn't hear more about it. Is this the only program that we have available that does this feature? I mean,
This is what
I
all of
don't
your
wanna-
budgeting is done on. And then it interacts with your payroll and your assets program.
I mean, I like the idea of the program, it seems like we're getting hit with this every so often from what I heard.
No, every year you pay your maintenance, you have a maintenance agreement. But this is a switch in a program from key budget to key fund.
It's a completely different program,
It's an upgrade, the same company.
and this was the one where they wouldn't,
They did put out another little reminder.
right?
Let's see. They will, how do they say it?
I know they said if we didn't pay the 5,000 for this program, it was gonna go up, but it's more or less a threat, and that's why we.
No, it's not a threat, it's just
Well,
how it
it's
is.
just how it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of a threat, if you don't spend it, you're gonna spend it. When it's not a direct threat, I understand.
And what's the maintenance fee, either, no matter which way we go, what's it gonna cost us to?
$5,485, but now that is for your billing, your budget, asset, and payroll. So that's the 4 programs.
Then the upgrade was 5,000, how much?
$5,750.
program?
And your maintenance program will be the same, no matter if you stay on budget or to keep up.
And what was that?
$5,485.
85. What is the advantage again? You're just saying it's real time, so currently,
now-
when you post something,
If today I write checks.
Right.
If I look up here and I look at my budget line, I'm gonna see I've got $10,000. It doesn't know that I've written this check until I update it
And you do updates,
once a month, generally.
has it been an issue in the past? I mean, have we got down to where,
Well, it's always an issue come about November, December, because then I'm having to really watch my lines because I don't want to, really get myself in a
I'm sure
mess.
there's certain funds that you get closer than others.
Very much so. And I can
Right.
always do transfers to cover.
How many line items or budget lines do we have?
Oh.
There's several, I know, too many in there.
Um,
It's all right.
yeah, I
Just
can't
think,
give you
Just
that number.
ballpark it, 20, 30?
When you consider everything
Yeah.
and all the funds, I imagine you have well over 200.
it just seems like a lot of money for an upgrade to, and I'm kind of, sometimes I feel like if they do hold us hostage sometimes, just,
That's that's the way it feels, I get it.
It's the cost of a new program.
Right. Well, you know what I'm saying, you either pay it or else kind of thing, and
Well, they have been promoting this change for 5 years and we just haven't done it. It's not new.
well, I
It's
wish the
just-
other councils would have done it.
Well, here we are. This is what you call kicking the can down the road.
That's a lot of money for a program.
Okay, when was
They
the
come and
last
train,
time?
is this the one they come and train
Yeah,
you
they'll come and
on?
train. But I can't even tell you the last time the program was updated. With Key Budget, you are really looking at DOS. You're not even looking at Windows. It's a DOS program dressed to look like Windows, but it's still DOS. So it's,
do the other municipalities in the county use this?
Burlington is making the switch. They made that approval at their last meeting.
And it's the same cost, $5,700?
Theirs might be a little different because it depends on what they have as far as their cost, what they do with it. Delphi switched a few years ago. Flora uses a different program. And Yeoman is on paper.
On paper?
Paper.
Oh my God.
Holy
Well, that's a good option. Wait a minute, how cheap is that? Man, that doesn't cost much.
Got excited.
That doesn't cost much to update a paper program, you can just buy a new tablet.
Every year you just buy your new
Man,
notebook and off you
Buy a
go.
new notebook. That needs to update her program, get her a notebook.
We do have a doctor here if something happens.
Well, why isn't the paper program an option?
Because it's not an option, let me tell you.
Just put that one away.
I did.
It looks like now.
Blew up there and about did it.
So, majority of the people are using it.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, one of the last holdouts.
good God almighty. What's your pleasure, guys? The Cubs are playing. I'm taping it.
Maintenance cost is the same no matter what you do.
$5,485.
No matter what you do.
But now that's for, again, for programs, it's not just this program. What do you get for maintenance, okay?
How much is the whiteout for the paper program?
That's one.
Gosh darn it.
I'll furnish that.
Yeah. Oh, gosh darn it. And this, we have to make a decision by December.
Well,
We can only table it one more time.
this is
What?
up to you guys.
What's your pleasure?
What's Flora use?
I can't tell you the name of the program. The only thing is, if you switch from this Keystone system, you probably are not gonna be able to integrate your systems.
Right, and these are completely integratable.
Yeah.
How much of a changeover are we talking? If we say, let's do this, how big of a problem is it gonna be for you now? The budget's here, but how much of a problem is it gonna be? If we say, let's do it, when are they gonna come do this for you?
They'll have to get me set up on their schedule. They have a schedule and put me on it. And they'll come in and do the training.
On site here? Is this gonna involve a new computer too?
Oh, I don't know. It's just a program.
I'm just asking. My computer's nothing compared to the program. I'm just trying to figure out what we're dealing with. If we say yes to this.
If we have to
computer's
get a
coming.
new computer, it means something happened to the computer. It has nothing to do with
I
this.
just,
would it run the new program? You know, some of the
Yes.
stuff won't run them.
Yes, yes, sir.
Just trying to, it's getting hot, that's a lot of money.
Hmm. This is a hard decision for you guys.
It's a lot of money.
Well, $5,750.
The upgrade, how long will that last, that five?
Well, they've maintained this budget program for several years, and I don't know when the change was made. It did not, if there'd been a change, it does not happen in the time since I have served as an elected official. Now, it might have, there was 4 years I wasn't in, and there may have been an update in that time, I don't know.
Which has been how long?
So this is my fourth term.
I'm personally not in favor of doing it right now. I look at these numbers and I get madder and madder. I look at them, that they're charging $5,485 for maintenance fees, and they want another $5,700 for the upgrade. It's just.
Can we figure out what floor is used on?
I don't want to switch to another.
It's probably the same.
The maintenance for your budget is $1,500. Your maintenance on your assets is $550. Your maintenance on payroll is $1,500.
What does that get us?
If we have any issues, any questions, we can call them,
Basically,
and they don't charge us, because it's here. Otherwise, it's billable. They
how
do
often do we
training.
call them and ask them?
Say for
Oh.
$500
For
for
4
4 terms.
Yeah, we call them, yeah. And if they have upgrades that they do to the program, then they upgrade us.
Do they charge us for the upgrades when it comes?
You're saying upgrades to the actual Keystone
Like if the tax figures, if in payroll, the tax rates change, they update, and then there's no charge on that. If they have some kind, every year they do little upgrades to the system, and there's no upgrades on that kind of a thing. Like the sessions that Lynette and I are going to the first week in November, they're gonna be talking about the updates that they've done to the program. And when they do it, they just send us an upgraded program, and we just change over.
Does Lynette use this program too?
Yeah, for billing, her maintenance is $19.25 a year.
This would cover her too.
Everybody, yep,
That's
that's
the
that,
maintenance, that's the breakdown on the maintenance.
that's the $5,485.
And if you don't upgrade, do you keep this system for how long?
They said they weren't gonna honor any more updates, right?
Yeah, there'd be no further updates on it.
How long will
They would maintain it, but they would not update
They said that a couple meetings ago when we
How
tabled it.
We'll switch.
it.
how long will this new system be valid before they obsolete it? 2, 3 years?
Oh, no, they've had this system actually out for about 5 years. We just
So
have
then
not really done
it's
it.
probably nearing the end of its life cycle.
No, because the budget that they used that for, well, unless they made a change while I was not in office, we pretty well went on Keystone probably in maybe 96. And then I know that they did an upgrade when they made it look, so it didn't look like DOS, but it looked like Windows. I know they did that. And then there could have been something that happened while I wasn't here, but I don't know. And then we're here.
If we spend this money and then they come out with a new program 2 years from now,
Then you have the option.
But they wouldn't force you into that.
They haven't really forced us into this.
Right.
they're just saying they're not gonna give.
They're
any
just
more
saying that
updates.
it's 5,750 today, and if we wait until next year, it's 7,000.
January 1st, it goes up to 7,000.
Oh,
Yeah.
But again,
You feel like you
you've
get the
known
W
for
back?
5 years this is coming. I don't know.
No, I didn't. I've only known since March.
And here we are, October, and we're still talking about it.
Yes, we've tabled it so many times.
I say either you do or you don't, but you gotta have some kind of decision.
I'm not in favor of it, personally, I mean,
And why do you oppose it?
I just think that we've gotten by, I mean, it's something that we've done, and we have, you know, we haven't had that many issues as far as I know. It's been 5 years, we've operated the same way.
And you know that as of the first of the year, they are not going to do upgrades.
So they
No,
won't change
yeah.
the numbers.
They're not gonna do upgrades, what are we
They
paying
would-
the maintenance fee for then?
No, on the budget.
They will take our
Maintain
phone
it.
calls, they will take care of our questions, that's what your maintenance is for.
But they won't
I thought you told me before the maintenance fee was that they did the upgrades and made adjustments in there for us. You're saying we're gonna pay the same amount of money and they're not gonna do that?
They're not going to fix, they're not going to enhance the program for us. If they've got an error, they will fix it. If they've got a problem, they will fix it. But they are not going to enhance
See,
it.
and I don't even like them saying that. I mean, that's wrong.
It is what it is.
I know.
I understand, but I don't feel that we have to pay it.
What do you think you're going to do?
I still feel that we do go just like we have been.
And if it crashes, then what do we do?
I don't know, I don't like it.
Pay the $7,000.
I just know how these guys work. They do it at the county level. They come in there and they do the same thing, and they just milk us because we're a government entity, and I think it's wrong.
I've never felt like this company's milked us. They've been around for a long time. If they had that kind of a attitude, I don't think they'd be working with as many communities as they do.
I mean, that,
I'm not trying
that's a valid
to
point
be
too.
difficult,
I
I'm
mean,
just trying to
Have we
alleviate
asked,
your
have we
concerns.
asked if they would reduce the rate? Did we even ask them? Or we just taking them at their
No,
word?
It's their contract.
I mean, you can't say is that the best you can do money-wise?
I don't know. I've never dealt with them, but I mean,
That's just a lot of money.
Yeah, it stinks all the way around.
I get you gotta have it, unless you go with the paper route.
Mhm.
I get it. I do understand it. I am sympathetic to what you're saying. But I get what Mark's saying too, and I agree with a whole bunch with what he's saying.
And what's to keep them from doing it in 2 years again?
That's my point. What if they come up?
Sorry, we're gonna screw you again. Here, you gotta pay
Well,
this or
first of all, I don't think we could say that about them. I don't think we could say
Well, I
that
can
there'd
say
be an advantage of us.
10 grand, 11 grand.
Well, you're
That's-
looking at two different issues.
Well, I know, but still, that's $11,000, so we can play on the computer.
I
We
don't
gotta,
think I
well, I mean, we gotta.
I'm not saying that either, Pat. I'm not.
No, I
we're
ain't.
not. We're
I'm
not
just-
making light, but we're not.
Well,
I'm just-
when you're dealing with it, this is important. But you guys have to make that decision on whether you want to do the upgrade.
I just don't wanna say, I don't wanna say yes, and then in 2018 go, well, here we are. This is great, this
Is
is
there
real
anybody we can
time.
talk to at Keystone?
Sure. You can.
Let's table it till next month. I'm done talking.
Yes.
Let's table it till next month. Give me a phone number, I'm gonna do some calling.
I'll leave this out for you.
Last time.
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
Got
and then
one more
we
month.
do need, are you going to,
Get it down to 3,500, Andy.
Yeah.
Good,
okay, your
Make- we gotta
maintenance
make a motion,
agreement,
table, make a
whether
motion to
you,
table.
Whether we do it or not.
you've got,
Now, do we have, we'll have to do that in November? Cause if we pay for them the maintenance thing for, will this be the same no
It's
matter
the
what,
same
which
no
way we
matter
go?
This is no matter what we do.
Then we gotta approve that tonight.
please,
Okay.
let's get that much done.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll make a motion for that.
we approve the
Maintenance fee.
maintenance
Maintenance
fee.
fee.
Okay.
Okay, so. we're
All I gotta do is
tabling
sign the one
maintenance.
part.
Okay, we need a motion and a second on the
Careful
maintenance.
what you sign over
I am, it's this big red sign that says please sign.
I will make a motion to pay the
Have my
maintenance.
lawyer look at it.
And I also, did we make a motion to table that?
Yes, we do have
Yes.
that too.
I second.
Okay. So Mark, are you seconding on the maintenance agreement, or are you
Yes.
seconding on the table?
Both.
Okay.
Can we throw in a paper thing just?
Okay, that's it, okay, now, the office will be closed November 8th for the election, November 11th for Veterans Day. There will be a limited hours on November 10th due to Keystone Training in Wabash.
So that's a lot going on in.
And that's the day my water bill's due, is the 10th,
Yes.
so you're out of the
So-
office, so. put it in
Actually,
tonight.
Lynette will be here in the
Oh,
morning.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, because she only has one, she has one that she's going to, and I have 3 classes.
Okay.
So that's part of that maintenance you're paying for.
Okay, Preservation Society will host another holiday bazaar November 26th. Does the council want to purchase a Christmas tree from in front of the community building? Cost approximately $200.
Did we know somebody that had one that they wanted to get rid of that we could donate?
The shocks is too big.
If you have something, we'll do a donation, I guess.
Is that
Last
delivered?
Huh?
Is that delivered?
That's what it was, yes.
Delivered,
I talked
but
to
we
Mark.
need help setting it up.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
a bear.
That
I
was,
mean, I don't
for-
mind doing it, but,
I was here
oh,
for
wait a
that.
minute, I'm a handicapped guy right
Yeah,
now.
you're limited.
I was here for that.
Yeah, if we get it.
You were here for the-
I stepped that stupid thing up last year.
Yeah, you helped me.
Yeah, I did. Had
Okay.
my tractor out.
We appreciated it too.
I know.
Nobody has a tree? I'm out of trees, I can't donate no more.
I
Backwards, they gotta be a certain size to fit the base.
Yeah.
got a saw to fix that if it's too big.
Yep.
I've got a new one.
What do you think, guys? Want to throw $200?
If we don't know anybody that's got one to donate,
Okay, so look for donation, but do the tree.
let's look for a donation, but I like the tree, it is nice, I mean, but
And I was really surprised last year how many were up here to decorate.
there was
and-
quite a few
Yeah,
people,
it was
there
nice,
really
I think
was.
they really
Do
enjoyed it.
we have adequate lights for it, or?
I mean, we'll have to test them, they were good when they came off, but
It was nice, there was a lot of people up here today.
Okay,
That
so
was
if we
nice.
can get one donated, we're okay, but
If
if
we
we
can't
need
get
to
one
pay
donated, let's
$200,
go ahead and get one, again, I don't have a problem with that.
Second.
okay,
Don't be
number
on top of my
600.
Okay, good.
Okay, as part of the housing rehab grant, we had to come up with a project that was unique to Camden. And so for the project they're going to do with Wildcat Creek Wildlife Center, where they'll come in and do some kind of a presentation. To kind of encourage them and to maybe, so we don't have to make a donation, we're gonna be collecting supplies in the, pet supplies in the office over the holidays, so that you're aware of that. And we do have a date tentatively set for them to give their presentation. And when that gets closer, we will be definitely encouraging at least the people who take part in the grant application to be here.
What month are we thinking?
I
I mean,
think
just,
we were looking at March,
okay,
yeah,
I didn't know how far away you
yeah, we're over this way.
For this number 6 be March.
Yes, I think it is, I'd have to look.
I'm just gonna,
Mhm.
just so I know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I've talked to the people down at the Wildlife Center. They're enthusiastic.
We need to find something for Andy.
Research why you guys won't go on.
You done with 6?
I am.
Utility adjustment request. Disputes over ordinance violations. Public comments. I got out here, Gary Stanley used the scout barn by the Silver Patrol.
Can I address the body?
You sure can.
All right. In the essence of time, I'll tell you that top of the first, Cubs are up 1-0.
Sweet.
Oh, bless your heart.
So, I'm Gary Stanley. I don't know how many of y'all know me, but I've lived here in Camden on Main Street for 16 years. You all want, you lived here 16 years.
It's been that long?
It is. For the last 16 years, I've been on your fire department, and I've risen to the rank of assistant chief for the last 4. Tonight, I come here as a lieutenant representing the United States Air Force Civil Air Patrol. I'm accompanied with Lieutenant Dunning, you bet you didn't know that, did you? Cadet Master Sergeant Stanley, and Airman First Class Dunning. And we are looking to use the Scout Barn for a new Civil Air Patrol unit that's coming to Carroll County. The current unit is located in Kokomo. Due to some leadership, the leadership staff is not connected to the Howard County or Kokomo area. Air Force has approved us to move a portion of that unit, becoming a standalone unit here in Carroll County. And centered here in Camden would be the utmost, the greatest thing we could do. Civil Air Patrol, briefly, is not only a youth organization, but it's also an adult organization. It started in the opening days of World War II for the senior, more seasoned people to train younger, up-and-coming people who are going into the active duty service. What Camden will get, well, you see here, you're going to get a unit, you're going to get an Air Force. CAP, unlike other great youth organizations, is not like 4-H or Boy Scouts it has a congressionally chartered mission. There are 3 prongs to the congressional chartered mission. There are emergency services, there are aerospace education, and cadet programs. Thank you. We look to grow into being a ground unit, you either have air assets or ground air assets. We would be working towards becoming a ground team asset, working not only locally with our law enforcement, EMA, fire departments, EMS, but also statewide and nationally. We were asked to participate in the missions in North Carolina for flooding, but unfortunately we're in the opening stages of creating this unit from the Kokomo region. So, Civil Air Patrol, the tornadoes that came to Carroll and Howard County, Civil Air Patrol is who mapped those. So bring a unit here to Carroll County, here to Camden, not only does it bring a great youth program, but also brings air assets to our local sheriff's department, town marshal, fire and EMS units. This is nothing but a great thing. This is nothing but positive that could happen here in Carroll County.
How large would the unit be?
I hope it's going to be about 400 scouts, but it's probably going to be about 20. What we need to become.
Okay, I'm back down there.
What we need is average unit sizes range about 20 people. We need 15 members. You have 4 here tonight, so we need 11 more members to be considered by the Air Force a squadron. We would be considered a flight until we reach that number. We would probably, you've seen us here in the county this past summer. We were part of the flag raising at Centennial Park.
Right.
We were at the Vietnam Memorial Wall at Fort President. We helped law enforcement at the Bacon Fest. What else have we done? We were at the football game for Veterans Day, football game. We had
The state police asked us to assist their
the state
color guard.
police asked us to go on the field with the state police color guard. We had a training camp which we brought members from other units from around the state to.
As far away as Anderson, these units come up, they wanted the training with which Lieutenant Stanley and myself provided. We taught them how to track people, how to tell time, as well as direction from the sun, fires, basic field living, what they're gonna need to get emergency services and ground teams certified, so that they can go out and look for lost or missing elderly people, children. That's all part of their emergency services mission, as well as looking for emergency locator beacons on the airplanes.
This is an incredible program. I ask you to learn more about it. This is not your typical youth program. It is a youth and adult program. It has as many opportunities for the adults as it does the youth. And once you become a part of this, it is amazing to see how these youth come around and become a part of this organization. It's nothing but positive. And I encourage you to look into it deeper. This would be a great thing. It's going to happen in Carroll County. It's been approved by the Air Force. We would like to set it up here at the headquarters here in Camden and utilize the Scout building.
And just to let you know that the type of reputation with which is going to be coming with this unit, part of the reason that the Indiana did not deploy a unit to the flooding in North Carolina after the hurricane was because Lieutenant Stanley and myself were not going.
That's true.
They were not satisfied with the type of leadership they were getting out of, was it Westfield? It was the
Westfield
Squadron.
and, Bloomington.
Now, that is not indicative of every squadron within inside the state, but the Westfield is one of the elements. And their leadership was not up to taking the children down.
There are typically three types of units within Civil Air Patrol. There are what they call a combination, which is a combination of adults and youth. There are youth units called cadet squadrons, and there are senior member squadrons, which are adults. And a youth can join a cadet squadron at age 12, and you can literally join this organization at age 12, and once you become 18, you can become an adult or a senior member. The program utilizes local aviators who become certified. The program stresses aerospace education, engineering. When I got involved, when they started saying, hey, we do emergency services, and I said, well, I'm on the fire department, and I'm an EMS first responder. I thought, great. They said, well, we do aerospace education, engineering. Well, I have a degree in mechanical engineering. They're like, you need to join. So, so I joined, and it has been just over a year, and I have done things. I was on active duty of the Air Force for 6 years. I have done more stuff with the Civil Air Patrol and the Air Force than I got to do on active duty Air Force.
How often are you wanting to have a meet and use the building?
We would have meetings once a week, and probably 2 weekends out of the month for training and special activities, things like that.
Roughly 6 times a month?
Right.
Roughly.
And we're looking at, we would probably have a 2-hour meeting, which would incorporate, you see, there's different types of uniforms. Generally, the meetings would be what Airman First Class Dunning's wearing would be in utilities, and you would have 15 to 20 cadets, hopefully. Usually drill, military customs and courtesy, different emergency services type activities. And these would also be coordinated with local assets here in Carroll County. Our fire, EMS, EMA, work closely with them. Then usually one week a month we would have our cadets fall out in dress uniforms for inspection. And 1 week a month our cadets would fall out in PT gear, which they would run PT. So that's maintain physical fitness. It's not 100% military, but it uses the military discipline to teach discipline and
Do you
mission.
have anybody using the Scout Bar present?
We got one girl scout.
Girl Scouts, but they could easily work out a scout.
Right.
Who would be our Girl Scout?
I think we'd start with Tanya Patton.
Okay.
What about her?
She's the Girl Scout leader, I think. So let's find out when she uses it,
Mhm.
and, if
There's no restrictions for using the building, I mean, for what it's donated for?
Well, it's donated for the scouts, but I think I'm going to do it for this. You guys can
I make a motion that we allow them to proceed.
I'll talk to Tanya and see
I'll second that.
when her schedule, if.
I know the Cub Scout.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And I see Tanya pretty frequently too.
Well, why don't you take care of that then, and then get back with me, but
Gladly.
also, just like, you guys aren't set in stone, so if she uses it on Wednesday, you guys can.
If I think it's an opportunity too, because I mean, there are projects and stuff you're looking for.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
if you come back to us and then maybe we can help with projects in town, maybe help fund them or
Absolutely.
certain things, or take care of the Scout Barn, or certain things in town that make it nice.
And we would be good stewards of that building.
That's what I mean, that's
Yeah,
what
we
needs
have
to
no doubt, but I mean,
We could provide representation with.
make it your own and be proud.
And that's what we're looking for is a space that the cadets
Right.
can feel at home, we can monitor and
I used to be scoutmaster, and we used to have a real active scout group here in town, but it just kind of faded away, and that building was used all the time.
I was a Boy Scout for 25 years, and I can tell you, this is like an Explorer program on steroids.
Right. And I think so, but I mean, I think it's great you want to bring it here to Camden also.
This will be incredibly positive for Carroll County and the center right here in Camden.
Okay, you get with Tanya and get with me, and
If she's not the right person, I'm sure she should.
She'll know who is.
oh yeah,
What about a key for the building?
that's what we'll have to, you got them, or
Yeah.
Now, you have any questions to Matt Sergeant, Airman First Class Dunningh?
We're good, good keep up the good work.
Might ask them about their fathers.
It's nice to see you.
You guys leave. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
they don't want to have so much fun.
No, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Step outside. Thank you very much.
Hey,
I was
thank
at
you
the
guys.
dedication
Appreciate
and
it.
they did a very nice job.
I would just like to say that I've been in this program since February, so I haven't been in there very long. But I've gotten to do so many great activities and events that it's really opened my mind to different career possibilities for the future, as well as just right now in the present times and what I want to do.
Good, good, good.
I would
Thank you
make a
for coming.
suggestion, the Preservation Society will have their little bazaar the Saturday after Thanksgiving. If you guys want to set up a table just to get introduced to the
That'd be
community,
great.
you might
That's
consider
great. That's awesome.
Outstanding idea.
And we are also, have been tasked with, by the Legion and the Veterans to be a part of the Veterans Program here in Camden as well. So you'll see us there.
Do you plan on attending the parades in the county then? The different
Absolutely.
parades?
Absolutely are.
I know there's 2 Christmas parades coming up and so it'd be nice.
Yeah, we had conflict this, well, to give you an example of how active this unit has been, and we'll be, the 19th of November, these guys are going on glider flights, so flying gliders.
Wow.
In the past year, they've been on, one of the coolest things we did, we went on a KC-135 refueling mission. We took off from Grissom, and I thought we were going to just kind of circle Indiana. I asked the navigator where we're at, he says, oh, we're over Arkansas. Like, oh no, this isn't on information center. And we hooked up with a C-17 out of Memphis, the Air National Guard out of Memphis, and we flew down the Mississippi River to New Orleans, and we were refueling out over the Gulf of Mexico. The crew on that 135 radioed to the 117 and said, hey, we have a bunch of cadets on board, would you mind hanging with us so they can all see this refueling operation? The air crew on the refueling plane was like, sure, we'll hang out with you. We ended up flying to the Florida Keys and back to Indiana. It's like, so it was awesome. I got some great pictures. I mean, and
So you go to school the next day and say, oh, I went to New Orleans and to the
yeah,
Florida
and
Classic.
it's one of those things. It's honestly one of those things that people look at you like you're just full of, you're absolutely full of it. But, you know,
Yeah.
But in addition to that, like I said, it's an asset that the town can call on, the storm comes through. They're also aid in cleaning out the roads, the debris, and they'll do damage assessments, and then, you know, they can check on elderly and all that.
We have a town bazaar coming up at the end of the month too, with a lot of people that'll be coming in next month too. That'll be
Next
a-
one.
That's the.
Right, that's what I'm just saying, that, and then the Christmas, yeah, that's.
That's your hayride. They can help the elderly up on the hayride too. Okay,
Thank
yeah, thanks, girls, appreciate it. Public project bids, we got Kim working on the Water Street deal. Grant information updates, he's working on the sort of thing. Okay, we're looking for one more applicant for the housing grant that we got to fill a position in the low income slot. That means in the household, if there's one person in the household, they can have an income of $17,360. If there's 2 people in the household, it can be $19,840, and then it goes up from there.
Do they actually have to own the house?
Yes, yes. Complete information available at the office, so if you have anybody, you know, that you know of that fits the criteria, or if anybody sees this, you know, let us know something.
Do we know of any elderly that's got the limited income that maybe we could?
Well, me and Pat's been working on it for a week now, and everything we come, I mean, we got one that's just barely over the limit, and then the rest of them.
The widow ladies here in town, I got 5 of them around me.
I know, but the problem is, 2 of them don't own the house, 2 of them, one of them makes too much money, and it's, you know,
Do you
stuff
have
like that.
suggestions?
Yeah, if you got any,
And I've got a list of who we've contacted and who we've had.
and both sides, I've been all around your house, and they're all not eligible.
You need it.
Mrs. Bailey?
Well, we were working on her, but she might, she don't know.
It's in.
It's in the trust.
If it's in a trust and they live there, it's still, doesn't qualify. And a lot of houses are in trust when they get out.
That's the
We found
problem. That's the
We found
problem.
that out, so, okay, so we got that ordinance and resolutions, none. Okay, council comment, we did the Marshall thing already, and we took care of that. Repairing the leak at the roof, did he ever Okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
I texted him the other day and I asked him, I said, would you please contact, so I'll get on him and if I have to, I'll get out there and get a hold of him. So I'll take care of that, so,
Who is it?
Gray
Wolf.
Wolf that doesn't, he said it wouldn't take much, he said.
Should be in a barn.
He said it's just a little tar deal up there. Okay, Halloween, in their old business, Halloween will be October 31st from 6 to 8. They're having, the Lions Club's doing their thing up here.
7:30.
Mason's.
Are you guys doing
Oh,
anything?
yeah,
With the
pass out
town's
candy.
passing out candy, the library's passing out candy, so,
The Masonic Lodge is helping with the Lions Club.
okay. So bring everybody up and enjoy that. And remember to vote November the 8th.
I did today.
And
So
if
tomorrow.
that's it, motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved. We're adjourned.